I think one of the reasons that people have trouble with WAR, or wins above replacement, is that the formula is complicated and it's different depending on which site you use. There's Baseball Reference WAR, or B-WAR, and then Fangraphs WAR, or F-WAR. I typically use B-WAR. And no matter which site you use, Aaron Judge leads the major leagues in WAR. He's got a 7.7 wins above replacement according to Baseball Reference. And I think we've reached the point now where if he didn't play another game the rest of the season, he's probably the MVP. Hitting .297 on the season, 51 home runs in 468 at-bats, 113 RBI. He's got 14 stolen bases. That's more than twice his career high already. He's got 20 doubles. He's yet to hit a triple. The OPS is 1.064, and his OPS plus is 199. I mean, that's just absurd. The guy's having a season for the ages. I haven't ever seen anything like this outside of Barry Bonds. 2001, Barry Bonds was next level. It was superhuman, but Judge is the closest natural comparison that I've ever seen. And it's been so much fun watching him. And this Maris chase is now a real thing. He needs 11 home runs in the next 32 games. Now, physically, that is well within his capabilities. He hit 17 home runs in September of 2017. And the guy's enormous. He's got a bunch of 2 home run games this season. Wouldn't surprise me if he gets 3 at some point over the next several weeks. But he's going to run into some issues. One, the Yankees are still kind of competing with the Rays for the division title, and they're heading to Tampa. I would be surprised if the Rays pitch to him at all. If I were the Rays, I would just put him on pretty much every at-bat. And that's why it's good that Rizzo has started to heat up with a couple of home runs over the last couple of nights, and Benintendi heating up possibly in front of Judge. We need Giancarlo Stanton to get going just to add a little bit more, potency to this offense where you have to pitch to Judge. But even so, I think they're going to signal out, we're not going to let Judge beat us. Also, you have to keep in mind that the Yankees are going to want this guy 100% healthy for the playoffs. So he's still going to get his rest days. So we say that he's got 32 games left to get to 11 more home runs. But honestly, he's probably got 30. He's probably going to get a couple of days off. Maybe even 29. So he's going to need some multi-home run games. Now, he's always pretty much hit well against Boston. We've got some games against Boston coming up. We've got some games against Pittsburgh coming up. We're finishing up a long road trip, and then the bulk of our games for the rest of the season are at Yankee Stadium, where he's comfortable and he has that short right field porch. Will he get there? I don't know. I would love to see it, but it's going to be close. Wouldn't surprise me if he ends up at 60 or 61, but still, that would be an amazing season. It also wouldn't surprise me if he just went on a tear and ended up with 63, 64. I really wish that he had stayed on pace for that 70. That would have been amazing going down the stretch. Also, it would have probably helped the Yankees rack up a few more wins. But hey, look, we've got one more game on the West Coast against the Angels. You want to finish above 500 against the Angels and the A's. You don't want to be below 500 against those teams. I mean, that would be pitiful, honestly. The Yankees must win tonight with Garrett Cole on the mound. Last year against the Angels, he had a 15 strikeout performance in Anaheim, one of the best performances he had all season. Wouldn't be shocked if he breaks out the high strikeout numbers tonight. Also, the Yankees have a day off tomorrow, and then they head to Tampa. And that's going to be scary, man. Tampa has been playing well. They always play the Yankees tough. And honestly, the Yankees have not been hitting the ball very well, and Tampa always shuts down the Yankees' offense. So I'm a little bit worried. Now, the fact that we just mentioned Rizzo and Benintendi both hit home runs last night, that's 2 days in a row for Rizzo. That's a good sign. DJ LeMahieu has not been DJ LeMahieu now for a bit. You have to wonder if he's feeling hurt a little bit. And we need somebody else to get going. It would be nice to get somebody on the lower half of the order like a IKF or a Trevino hot. Oswaldo Cabrera had a few good days in a row, but he's settling in at about 240. I think he's a better hitter than that. I think that he's got some potential to get hot against the Rays. I always love those high-energy players when they get their first meaningful games at the big league level, because they're going to be even more high energy. That can affect you in two different ways. It can, some people can focus in that situation, and some people fold in that situation, quite frankly. But Cabrera doesn't seem like somebody who's going to fold. I have faith in him. I think he needs to get a little bit better on the bases, been picked off a couple of times. It would be great to get Gleyber Torres going again. His batting average has fallen down to 242, and his on-base percentage, which we know the Yankees value that statistic highly, is at 292. 714 OPS, so he's really fallen off. 103 OPS plus, so just above league average. I'd be interested in hearing in the comments, reading in the comments, can't hear the comments, whether or not you guys think that Gleyber Torres will be back next season. The longer this year goes along, the more I think that the Yankees might be inclined to make a move there. You've got some restructuring to do. I think you need more contact still, but I also think that Gleyber Torres has had some mental lapses and some hustle lapses, and he's approaching the time when he's going to get paid as a free agent in the next couple of years, and I don't think the Yankees are going to be inclined to pay him, so why not move him when he's still 25, 26 years old and see what you can get for him. I don't know if the Pablo Lopez deal would be on the table this winter, but I would certainly revisit it as long as you don't have to include Peraza, as was considered at this trade deadline. So, all right, guys, I want to get to your voicemails. We've got one more game tonight. I'm probably going to do a quick recap. If the game is extraordinarily good, maybe I'll do a live show. We'll see how I'll decide in about the 7th inning. So if you see one of those, thumbnails pop up that says upcoming around the 7th inning or so, then you know I'm going to go live. Anyway, without further ado, let's get to your voicemails.
What's going on? This is Steve from West Hempstead. There's a lot of things to worry about, but, I wouldn't really just, push the complete panic button. This is just, we still got September. I think they should just call up these guys that they were holding on to that kept them from getting Castillo or many of these other big names. Call up the kids. Call up the Volpe and Peraza.
I would love to see them call up Oswald Peraza. Look, I stood by IKF. I still stand by IKF. I think he's a good little player. But you've got a month now to break somebody in at the major league level at the shortstop position. And if you're not going to use Oswaldo Cabrera as your shortstop, you really would like to have somebody who can not only hit a little bit better at the major league level, has a little bit more pop, somebody like Peraza, but maybe somebody that the league hasn't seen that can surprise you. Remember Randy Arozarena when he first came up to the major leagues and was great in the postseason? You never know. You might catch lightning in a bottle, somebody like that. So I agree with you. I don't think Volpe's going to head up just yet because he's a little bit further away. He's at Double-A. I do think they'll put him in Triple-A for a bit first, but there's no question in my mind that he's ready. He would probably struggle a little bit if you called him up, but I think it's worth it. I would love to see him. We'll probably see him next year.
Hey, Derek. This is Patrick from North Carolina. I'm with you, man. It's been a tough probably 6 weeks watching baseball, but I was recently reminded about the 2000 rendition of the Yankees and how they limped into the playoffs. And at this point, I have two goals. I want to see Judge hit 62, and I want to see the Yankees make the playoffs, and then hopefully we can make some magic happen because, October is a magic month for the Yankees. So I still hold hope. I'm not really worried about the division anymore. I'm just worried about getting in the playoffs and making some noise. So I draw hope from that, and I hope other Yankee fans do. But like I said, look up the 2000 Yankees, and they struggled at the finish line like we are this year, but things turned out well. So anyway, love the show, brother. Take care.
Thanks for the call. When considering the late season struggles of the 2000 Yankees, you have to put it into this context. They were already two-time defending world champions. So they were just kind of going through the motions with the expectation they would be in the playoffs. And they actually made the playoffs with just 87 wins. And then they stampeded to the World Series. But this team letting its foot off the gas has been concerning. Let's just hope they can turn it back on in time for the postseason.